You need to get off my porch or I'm going to call the cops again.
This girl is very unstable, and I believe that she is verbally abusing and possibly even physically abusing her boyfriend. I have the worst neighbors. A couple moved into the apartment below us, and at first they were very nice, but after a couple weeks they started to argue very badly. We thought about complaining about this to management, but we realized that we also had a newborn baby that definitely made noise throughout the day, so we tried to be mindful of that and decided it wasn't our place. I started my new job, and I work from home, so all of my training was done online. During one of my training meetings, the couple begins arguing so loudly that my trainer can hear what's going on and ask me if everything is okay. I was mortified that she could even hear what was happening, so I told her just give me a couple minutes and I would be right back. So I go downstairs, I knock on the door, and nobody answers. I have to get back to my meeting, so I just shout at the door, "Hey, I can hear every word you guys are saying, I need you to quiet down." But as soon as I got upstairs and put my headset on, they started screaming again. Now the girl is slamming doors so hard in her apartment that our floor is shaking. My daughter wakes up, who was asleep on the floor, and is now scared because of the noise. Now I'm mad. So I go downstairs, I knock on their door again. The boyfriend answers the door, and mind you, he's like 5 foot, 100 pounds soaking wet. He's a very small guy. And he looks so miserable and so tired. I immediately start to feel bad for him and think that this might be a domestic violence case. I ask if he's okay, and he says that he's fine. He apologizes for the noise. I tell him that if it continues, I'm going to be calling the police. With that being said, I go upstairs and I go back to my apartment. I'm not even in there for a couple minutes and she's slamming doors again. So I go out to my porch and I call the cops, asking for a wellness check. As soon as I get off the phone with the cops, the girl comes out of her apartment and slams her front door behind her. I can see her from my balcony. So I ask her, "What the f*** is wrong with you? Why do you keep slamming your doors?" I guess she didn't like what I had to say because she starts coming up the stairwell and trying to come after me. I shout to her that the cops are on their way, and if she even tries to lay her hands on me, that I will be filing a report against her. For a solid 15 minutes until the cops came, she was hiding in the stairwell waiting for me to come out of my apartment. The cops finally come. They do their wellness check. The police leave after their wellness check, and I assume that this has to be the end of it. Evidently, I was wrong because she is still slamming her doors. Our Ring camera goes off and I hear a knock on our door. When I check the camera, I see that it's her standing on our balcony.
You need to get off my porch or I'm going to call the cops again.
She tries to give me some half-assed apology. I tell her that I think it's best if she just left us alone and stopped being so fucking loud. By March of 2021, it was time to renew our lease. We wanted more space, so they offered us a 2-bedroom apartment that was at the front of the complex, far away from this couple. We decided to take it, and before we knew it, it was moving day. My fiance told me that when him and his friends were moving furniture around in the old apartment to get it into the U-Haul, the girl was slamming the doors the entire time. Not only that, but when he moved the U-Haul to the front of our apartment, she followed it to see where we moved in. She drove past the new apartment several times that day. Over the next couple weeks, we decided to take walks around the neighborhood after work. The girl would purposely take the long way around the complex to pass us. She would roll her windows down and drive very slow by us and stare at us. When I get inside, I call management and ask what I should do. They recommend that I should call the police and file a report. So I do, and they file it as a complaint. They say it can't be filed as harassment. I get on the phone with management again to share the case number, and she drives by my house again. Management has done nothing about this, and they still live here. The girl drove by my apartment 2 weeks ago. She was leaving the neighborhood and took the long way around to pass by us. I called the apartment office right away, but they didn't answer. Then I called the non-emergency line for the police department. I explained that this was an ongoing occurrence and that I want to file a harassment claim. They added it to my existing report and said a police officer would be reaching out to me by the end of the day. A couple hours later, I received a phone call from an officer as promised. He actually lives in this neighborhood, so he knows the layout, thank God. Because of this, he understands that the route that she is taking is clearly to stalk us. He made it very clear to her that what she's doing is stalking and classifies as harassment. The county police agree that there is now enough evidence to indicate the standard of fear and pattern of behavior. This will help with the odds of approval for restraining orders. It would also help with dissolving our lease agreement if that is what we choose to do. This entire experience violated the promise of a peaceful environment. It made it impossible for us to enjoy other amenities of the apartment, such as the common areas, walking paths, the park, the tennis court. There's all kinds of things that we could be doing with our daughter outside that we honestly are afraid to because we don't know what she is capable of. This girl is very unstable, and I believe that she is verbally abusing and possibly even physically abusing her boyfriend. We did our part by reporting it, but now she will not leave us alone even after being told by us personally, by law enforcement, and by property management.